Have you ever thought to yourself, what would we do without cars? How would we get to work? How would we drop the kids off at school? How would we even function without our cars? For most of us, we have a dependency on our car and we may not even know it. And this is why I want to point out that there is no perfect vehicle. Cars will break down and cars will have problems, which is fine and should be expected. Now, you're gonna have to forgive me for a minute while I quote my mum. She always said to me, it wasn't the problem that causes all the stress, it's normally finding a solution. Which brings me to my point. If you buy a car from a private person or a dealer that's not concerned about their reputation and there's a problem, you're gonna have to handle that problem all on your own. But choose to buy your next car from a dealership that promises to be there should something go wrong, and you'll never, ever have to take my original question seriously. So today, thanks to Asanda, I'm going to show you how to avoid the possible by choosing to deal with the family-owned McCarrolls Automotive Group. I know that there are currently people now buying cars using their mobile phone and computer on the internet. And like them, I thought this was a great idea, as the internet is a very convenient way to gain access to information on the car you're wanting to buy. It also gives most people the feeling of control and a way to avoid the dreaded car salesman. But what the internet doesn't give a buyer is good old-fashioned service, after-sales support, or a relationship that they can depend on. Okay, so it's time for a little bit more Aaron wisdom, and that is never buy a car based on the purchase price. Always look at the total cost of ownership. What does that mean? Well, that means when you buy a car, be aware of what it's going to cost to insure, what it's going to cost to maintain, what it's going to cost to register, and importantly, what it's going to cost when it breaks down. Because trust me, your car will break down. Thanks. Now pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you could save you months of potential pain. I'd like to introduce you to the family-owned McCarrolls Automotive Group. Now they're driven to make sure that your car always adds to your life and never takes from it. Hello, how are you? I'd like to meet Mr. McCarroll, please.
Certainly, sir.
Over 34 years, the McCarrolls family has developed a reputation for building strong relationships with their customers and a desire to be an active member working within the local community. A desire that has helped them to grow, and now they represent some of the world's leading automotive brands on Sydney's North Shore and in the Hunter Valley. They now represent Lexus, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Toyota, Citroen, Fiat and Alfa Romeo. Now Phil, you've started your company, yourself and your wife, and you've based everything around the blokes from the bush.
Yeah, we started a business in Cooma in a small Ford dealership. We had a 30% shareholding, and my wife and I went down there and put everything on the line, and it was a great ride. We then got offered by Ford the chance to take on a dealership in Mudgee by ourselves, which we moved to Mudgee and started a dealership in Mudgee. And from Mudgee we went to Camden, another Ford dealership. And then we got a knock on the door from Toyota in 1988 to come to the big smoke, the city. We had a great philosophy, I think, with the customers, because when you're in a small country town, you walk down the street to get the paper on Sunday morning and all your customers are there. So you soon learn that to do the country way and do things right.
How proud are you to have your son coming through the business?
That's fantastic. He's learned from the bottom up. He started off in all areas, from parts and service and cleaning cars, through to sales, through to wholesaling, and now he runs a number of our dealerships.
What do you think makes McCarrolls the best choice for a customer?
Well, I guess from the point of change, the industry is an ultra exciting place to be. You've always got new models, you've always got new technologies that are coming out. What you're seeing now is a lot more social media being used, a lot more online purchasing. When I started in 1994, you didn't even really have the internet. From our point of view, we've tried to leverage that pretty heavily, and I think in terms of what we do differently to other people, it's easy to say that you provide customer service and you do those things. For us, we've got a philosophy around treating everybody like a guest in our own home. Hopefully the experience we provide invites them back at some stage in the future.
So really, when someone comes and buys off a dealership, they're not going to be left alone. They know what's going to happen in years to come, and they've always got someone to call.
You've got confidence, yeah.
You can see throughout the dealership there's this family bond. Thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Phil. No, thanks for having me over. So there you go, a couple of important tips to buy your next family member your car. Now don't get me wrong, the internet's a great place to find out more information and get advice, but actually buy the car from a physical person, a company with a reputation you can bank on, because after all, you're only human. To be treated like a human being, drop into McCarrolls Automotive Group, go to mccarrollsautomotivegroup.com.au or follow the links from Zoom TV. Coming up after the break, I'll share my thoughts on the all-new Prius C thanks to City Toyota. That's coming up on Zoom TV.